Today we are going to talk about women in coffee. 2015 is a very unique year to talk about gender. In 2006, 2007, organizations like United Nations, the Food Agriculture Organization, USAID, they decided that by 2015, all the programs, all the initiatives, all the projects has to include gender policies. So this is the year, and of course, it's agriculture. But I think in our industry, in coffee, we have been doing a lot of things. Still, we need to continue develop more and more, so that's why we are here to discuss that. Today, 43% of the agriculture depends on women. And most of the women are not in the management, are not in the leadership positions. And if they were, or if they are right now, we can totally change and increase productivity by 20 and 30%. Those studies come from the United Nations and the Food Agriculture Organizations. If you also train and give education to women, you can reduce poverty by 12 to 70%. So that's really important, and I think that's why we are here today to talk about these issues.
In Nicaragua,
15 years ago, there were just 2 women managing cooperatives. Now we have 12 nationwide who are managing organizations, marketing. We also have a small group of women baristas and cuppers in the country. And we've seen more women growers and producers. They are actively engaged, and they have decision-making power in everything that is related to democratic participation and decision-making.
En el 2002, nosotros, de manera conjunta,
in 2002, we jointly launched the first brand of coffee produced solely by women. It's called Las Hermanas, the Sisters.
The lanzamiento de Café Hermanas empezó
The Las Hermanas coffee raised the profile of the importance of coffee produced by women in the industry as a whole. And this was where we saw the first initiative, an international women's partnership in coffee.
Part
of our focus has been especially to incorporate a gender perspective. This is a business run by 2 women, my partner and myself. That's been a double challenge for us. It's much more difficult. It's a market, as Fatima said, it's a man's world. So we have to shift paradigms. But I think women's empowerment is not to demonstrate that we're better as men or better as women. Rather, what we need to do is seek equity between men and women so that we can be successful in any business.
There is a huge gender pay gap in this country. It's between 20 and 25%. So for precisely the same work, women can expect to earn 75 to 80% of what a man does for exactly the same job. And that proportion hasn't changed for many years. There are very few women in senior roles in any part of the society, particularly in the corporate sector and the private sector where I came from. The position is something like 1 to 2% of the most senior roles are held by women. So this is a sexist country. And therefore it's a country where it's harder to get anything done if you're a woman. I don't think it's quite as hard as it might be in your countries, but that is certainly has been my absolute personal and my observed experience.
I really wish that I could be here talking about being a person in coffee, not about being a woman in coffee. The term woman in coffee, it's one that I find more compromising than helpful. It turns us into exception rather than the standard. But talented women in coffee are not an exception, they're an example. Women in the Melbourne coffee industry play pivotal roles in our roasteries, our cafes, our warehouses. We are not denied opportunity. Early in my career though, women did not contribute to the economics of coffee. I recall walking into a lot of meetings where I was the only woman at the table. And in many of my jobs, they've seen me in spaces where women didn't hold a position of power. But despite our history as an industry, I see a bright future. I'm experiencing the dynamic shift right now. Just the other day, I sat at a table with 4 other coffee professionals, and only one of them was a man. Opportunities are being opened up to young women across the board. They're moving up the ranks. They're taking on positions of power with gusto. And as far as gender equality is concerned, I feel like we've broken the crust. I like to think of myself as one of the next generation, the new wave of women who don't play by gender rules, but rather play with talent and drive. In this new wave, exceptional women in coffee, like the ones next to me, are an example, not an abnormality. Thank you.